My mother started crying before the bank manager even sat down. She pressed a tissue under one eye, pointed at me across the glass desk, and said, "She's been emptying Evelyn's account little by little." My father stood behind her with his hand on her shoulder, calm and rehearsed, and added, "She's taking advantage of a confused old woman who trusts her." I remember the teller behind the counter going still, her fingers hovering over the keyboard, while my grandmother's blue checkbook sat on the desk between us like a weapon. My name is Sabrina Whitaker. I'm 33 years old. What my parents didn't know was that I had stopped defending myself years ago, and that day, for once, the bank had something stronger than my word. My grandmother, Evelyn Price, was 81, sharp as a sewing needle, and stubborn enough to argue with her microwave when it beeped too long. She had arthritis in both hands, so every Thursday morning I drove her to errands: pharmacy, grocery store, post office, bank if she needed cash for her church envelope or her hair appointment. It was routine, boring even, until my mother decided routine looked like theft. She had called me that morning with a voice so sweet it made my stomach tighten. "Sabrina, meet us at First County Bank at 10, she said. "Why? Don't start. Your grandmother is upset." That was the phrase they always used when they wanted me to feel guilty before I knew what I'd done. When I arrived, my parents were already there. My mother, Patricia Whitaker, wore her cream cardigan, the one she saved for church meetings and public concern. My father, Alan Whitaker, stood by the manager's office door with his arms folded like he was guarding a crime scene. My grandmother was not there. That was the first thing I noticed. The second was my younger sister, Kelsey, sitting in the lobby with sunglasses on her head and a paper coffee cup in her hand, watching me like she had bought a ticket. "Where's Grandma?" I asked. My mother looked at the manager, not me. She was too distressed to come. That was a lie. Evelyn Price would have crawled over broken glass to correct a bank fee. The manager, a careful man named Mr. Hollis, invited us into his office. There were framed certificates on the wall, a little dish of peppermints on the desk, and my grandmother's account printout face down in front of him. My mother started crying immediately. "She won't tell us everything," she said, voice shaking, "but we found withdrawals, cash withdrawals, always when Sabrina takes her out." My father leaned in. "We're not trying to cause trouble," he said, which meant he absolutely was. "We just want the bank to know she may be exploiting Evelyn." Exploiting. That word landed cold. I looked at Kelsey through the office window. She was pretending to scroll, but she was smiling. Mr. Hollis turned to me. "Ms. Whitaker, do you have access to your grandmother's debit card?" "No." "Her PIN?" "No." "Have you made withdrawals on her behalf?" "No." My mother gave a tiny, wounded laugh. Of course she'll say that. And there it was, the whole shape of my family in one sentence. Kelsey could bounce checks, borrow money, forget birthdays, and somehow remain overwhelmed. I could take Grandma to 6 appointments in 1 week, pick up prescriptions, clean out her refrigerator, sit with her during dizzy spells, and still be treated like the hired help with suspicious motives. My father tapped the printout. "Look at the dates," he said. "March 14th, March 28th, April 11th, every time Sabrina drove her." I knew those dates, not because I had stolen anything, because on March 14th, Grandma bought yarn for a baby blanket. On March 28th, she gave $20 to the church fish fry. On April 11th, she took out cash because Kelsey had called her crying about an electric bill. But I didn't say that yet. I had learned that in my family, facts sounded like excuses when they came from me. Then the teller from the front counter appeared in the doorway. Her name tag said Marjorie Ellis. She held a small notepad and looked at Mr. Hollis, then at my parents. "Do you have the exact withdrawal times?" she asked. My mother blinked. "Why?" Marjorie's expression didn't change. "Because we keep lobby and teller camera footage for 90 days. For the first time since I walked in, my father's hand dropped from my mother's shoulder. "Of 5. My mother dabbed her eyes a little too fast. "I don't see why that's necessary," she said. "We're not here to embarrass anyone." That almost made me laugh. Mr. Hollis looked at her carefully. "Mrs. Whitaker, you came in alleging financial abuse. If footage can clarify the withdrawals, it's necessary." My father cleared his throat. "We're only concerned for Evelyn." "Then this should help," Marjorie said. She stepped into the office and set her notepad beside the account printout. "I pulled up March 14th while you were talking." My mother's face tightened. Kelsey had stopped pretending to scroll. Through the glass, I saw her sit straighter. Mr. Hollis turned his monitor slightly, not enough for us to see yet, and clicked. The office went quiet except for the soft hum of the air conditioner. "There," Marjorie said. 10:16 a.m. On the screen, grainy black and white footage showed the teller line from above. My grandmother stood at the counter in her navy coat, purse tucked under her elbow. I stood beside her, holding a pharmacy bag and looking bored. Grandma leaned over the counter. The teller spoke to her. Grandma opened her own checkbook, signed a withdrawal slip, and tapped the amount with one crooked finger. Mr. Hollis paused the video. That appears to be Mrs. Price authorizing the transaction herself. My father said nothing. My mother recovered first. Sabrina could have told her what to take out. Marjorie clicked again. On the footage, the teller counted bills. Grandma took them, folded them once, and slipped them into her wallet. Then she turned to me and smacked my arm lightly with the back of her hand. I remembered why. She had told me not to let her buy more yarn. I had told her she was 81 and could buy whatever she wanted. She said that was exactly the kind of reckless encouragement that ruined people. Mr. Hollis moved to the second date, March 28th. Again, Grandma at the counter. Again, me beside her. This time I was holding her cane while she dug in her purse. She signed, she chatted, she took the cash herself. My mother's mouth thinned. She can sign things without understanding. I finally spoke. She understood well enough to win $70 at bingo that afternoon. My mother shot me a look. "This is not funny." "No," I said, "it isn't." Mr. Hollis clicked to April 11th. That was the date I had been waiting for. The footage opened on the lobby, not the counter. Grandma sat in one of the padded chairs near the ficus plant. I stood near the door, phone to my ear. I remembered that call too, the cardiologist rescheduling her appointment. Then Kelsey walked into frame. Not me, Kelsey. She wore the same oversized sunglasses now perched on her head in the lobby outside. She bent down to kiss Grandma's cheek, then sat beside her. They talked. Grandma opened her purse. Kelsey reached in and took out the checkbook. My mother whispered, "What is this?" No one answered. Kelsey stood up on the video and helped Grandma to the teller window. I remained near the door, still on the phone, turned halfway away. At the counter, Grandma signed the slip. The teller counted out cash. Then the camera caught it clearly. Grandma handed the entire stack of bills to Kelsey. Mr. Hollis paused the footage. For a moment, the room felt airless. My father looked through the glass at Kelsey. Kelsey looked down at her coffee. Marjorie folded her hands in front of her. The April 11th withdrawal was made by Mrs. Price and immediately given to the woman in the lobby. "My daughter," my mother said faintly. "Yes," I said. "Your other one." Of 5. My mother turned on me like I had arranged the footage myself. "Why didn't you tell us Kelsey asked her for money?" I stared at her. "I did." "No, you didn't. April 12th in your kitchen. You said Kelsey was under pressure and I needed to stop judging her." My father's jaw flexed. He remembered. That was the worst part. He remembered and still let my mother drag me into a bank office like a criminal. Mr. Hollis removed his glasses and set them carefully on the desk. To be clear, Mrs. Price is entitled to withdraw her own funds and give them to whomever she chooses, provided she has capacity and is not coerced, but accusing someone of theft is serious. My mother's cheeks flushed. We were misinformed. By whom? I asked. No one answered. Through the glass, Kelsey stood and started toward the exit. Marjorie moved first. She opened the office door and called, polite as a church bell. "Ma'am, please stay a moment." Kelsey froze. My father stepped out. "Kelsey." She turned, eyes wide with fake confusion. "What?" My grandmother chose that exact moment to arrive. She marched through the front doors in a purple raincoat, gripping her cane like a royal scepter. Her neighbor, Mr. Alvarez, trailed behind her, looking apologetic. "I told you to wait in the car," he said. "And I told you I'm not dead," Grandma snapped. Every head in the bank turned. My mother stood so fast her chair rolled back. "Mom, what are you doing here?" Grandma looked her up and down. "Stopping a lynching, apparently." "Please don't use dramatic language," my mother hissed. Grandma pointed her cane at her. "Don't do dramatic things." Then she saw me. Her face softened for half a second. "Sabrina, honey, are you all right?" That nearly broke me. Not the accusation, not the footage. That one question. I nodded because if I opened my mouth, I wasn't sure what would come out. Grandma moved into the manager's office without being invited and lowered herself into the chair beside me. Mr. Hollis greeted her gently. "Mrs. Price, we were reviewing some withdrawals." "I know. Patricia called me this morning and asked if Sabrina had been stealing from me." My mother whispered, "I asked if you were missing money." "You asked if Sabrina was taking advantage of me." Grandma tapped the checkbook on the desk. "And when I said no, you told me confused people often don't realize they're confused." Marjorie made a sound that might have been a cough. Grandma turned toward the lobby. "Kelsey, come here." Kelsey didn't move. Grandma's voice sharpened. "I said come here." Slowly, my sister walked in, arms folded. "I didn't do anything wrong. You gave it to me." "I did," Grandma said, "because you cried and said your lights were about to be shut off." They were. Grandma tilted her head. "Then why did Mrs. Donnelly from church tell me she saw you at the casino that night?" Kelsey's mouth opened. My mother said, "Mom, no." Grandma lifted one hand. "I'm old, Patricia, not stupid. And I'm tired of all of you acting like Sabrina is the problem because she's the only one who doesn't perform helplessness for applause." The silence after that was thick and glorious. Then Grandma reached into her purse and pulled out a folded envelope. "And since everyone's here," she said, "we might as well discuss the second account." Of 5, my mother went very still. "What second account?" Grandma smiled without warmth. "The one your husband has been asking about for 6 months." My father's face changed so quickly, I almost missed it. Calm concern slipped, and something meaner showed underneath. "I asked because we need to make sure your affairs are organized," he said. "My affairs are organized," Grandma said. "That's why you're nervous." She handed the envelope to Mr. Hollis. "I'd like to confirm no one but me is authorized on that account." Mr. Hollis opened it, checked the papers, and nodded. "That is correct. Sole owner, no debit card issued, no online access." My mother looked between them. "Mom, why would you hide money?" Grandma's eyebrows rose. "From people who accuse my caregiver of theft in public, mystery of the century. I am your daughter, and Sabrina is my granddaughter, yet here we are." Kelsey muttered, "This is ridiculous." Grandma turned her cane slightly toward her. "You hush. I gave you $900 this spring. You told your parents Sabrina must have taken it because you didn't want to explain where it went." Kelsey's eyes filled immediately. I was embarrassed. "No," Grandma said. "You were caught." My mother reached for Kelsey, but Grandma's hand came down on the desk with a crack. "Patricia, stop rescuing her from consequences and calling it love." For once, my mother had no speech ready. Mr. Hollis cleared his throat. "Mrs. Price, would you like to add any protections to your primary account? We can note preferred contact procedures and set alerts." "Yes," Grandma said. "I want Sabrina listed as my trusted contact." My father barked out a laugh. "After all this, you're putting her closer to your money?" Grandma looked at him like he had tracked mud onto her carpet. "After all this, She's the only one I trust not to sniff around it." He leaned forward. "Evelyn, think carefully." "I have." "You're making this emotional." "I'm making it documented." That shut him up. Mr. Hollis printed forms. Marjorie witnessed them. Grandma signed each page slowly, her arthritic fingers stiff but certain. My mother cried again, but the tears had changed. They were no longer for the manager. They were for herself. "Sabrina," she whispered, "you could have avoided this if you'd just been more transparent." I almost smiled. "About money that wasn't mine?" "About everything. You always make us feel shut out." "No," I said. "You shut me out, then accuse me of hiding." Grandma slid the signed forms back to Mr. Hollis. "Also, remove Patricia as emergency phone contact. She uses emergencies as invitations." My mother gasped like she'd been slapped. Mr. Hollis stayed professional. "Who would you prefer?" "Sabrina, and Mr. Alvarez as backup." My father stared at the desk. Kelsey stared at the floor. My mother stared at me, furious that the scene she had staged had found a different villain. When we left the office, the entire lobby pretended not to watch. Outside, Grandma stopped beneath the bank awning and took my hand. "I'm sorry," she said. I swallowed hard. "You didn't do it." "No, but I let them treat you like the sturdy one. Sturdy things still crack." Behind us, my mother called my name. I turned. She stood on the sidewalk with my father and Kelsey clustered behind her. "We need to talk as a family," she said. Grandma squeezed my hand. For the first time in my life, I didn't walk toward my mother's voice. I said, "No, you need to talk to each other." Then I helped Grandma into Mr. Alvarez's car, and we drove away. 6 months later, Grandma's Thursday errands had changed. We still went to the pharmacy and grocery store, but the bank was quieter now. No ambushes, no trembling accusations, no cream cardigan performances. Grandma had alerts sent to my phone, and once a month we sat at her kitchen table with tea while she reviewed every statement herself. She bought a magnifying lamp just to read the tiny print and announced, "If anyone is stealing from me, they'll have to improve their penmanship." Kelsey paid back $200, then stopped. My parents blamed stress until Grandma mailed them copies of the bank footage stills with a handwritten note. "Since evidence helps this family listen, here you are." After that, the calls slowed. At first, I thought silence would feel like punishment. It didn't. It felt like taking off shoes that had always been too tight. My mother tried once near Christmas. She left a voicemail saying, "We don't want this ugliness to ruin the holidays." Not, "I'm sorry." Not, "We were wrong." Just a request that I sweep up the glass quietly so no one cut their feet. I didn't call back. Instead, Grandma came to my apartment on Christmas Eve with a pie balanced on her lap and Mr. Alvarez carrying a covered dish behind her. We ate at my small table under the crooked paper snowflakes my neighbor's kids had taped to the hallway walls. Grandma gave me a wrapped box. Inside was a framed photo I hadn't seen in years. Me at 14 sitting beside her on the porch, both of us laughing so hard our eyes were squeezed shut. On the back, in her shaky handwriting, she had written, "To Sabrina, who stayed when staying was hard." I cried then. Not pretty, silent movie tears. Real ones. Grandma reached over, patted my cheek, and said, "Good. Rust needed rinsing." By the following spring, her roses bloomed wild along the fence. I was kneeling in the dirt, planting lavender while she sat in the shade, giving orders she called supervision. My phone buzzed with a text from my father. "Your mother is ready to move past this." I looked at it for a long moment. Then I typed, "I'm ready to move forward. That isn't the same thing." I blocked the number after that. Grandma didn't ask what happened. She just handed me another plant. The sun was warm on my shoulders. Dirt was under my nails. Grandma was humming some old hymn off-key, and the bank, the accusations, my mother's staged tears, all of it felt far away. For once, no one was turning a monitor toward me to prove I was innocent. No one had to. Grandma knew. I knew. And that was enough. If you've ever been accused by the people who should have protected you, tell me in the comments, because sometimes the truth only needs one witness brave enough to turn the screen around. If this story stayed with you, tell me in the comments what you would have done in my place. And if you want more stories like this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel.